What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve. Thank you for joining us. And if this is your first time, welcome to the family. Consider hitting the like and subscribe. Today we are talking about a stunning pair of shoes that I think are a work of art, if I may say so myself. These are the Air Force One 2020 BHM. Let's take a real close look. Alright guys, so right off the bat, I want to make my feelings known that I think these shoes are really a work of art. They're not shoes I plan on wearing out, scuffing, doing anything like that. These are going to go on the shelf, showpiece. That's what I feel when I look at this shoe, because there's a lot going on here and there's been some, let's just say, divided opinions on how good this shoe looks between, comment boards, YouTubers, the whole nine. And in my opinion, I like challenging art. Whether that, is what Outkast did when they really strayed from the confines of hip-hop as a genre, what Kanye did with the Yeezus album, and what Nike is doing with this shoe. And I'm not trying to compare this shoe to those amazing hip-hop albums, but I just wanted to use those as illustration for where I'm coming from. I like design and art that challenges you a little bit, that kind of strays from conformity. And with sneakers, that can be hard to pull off, really, because we still have to want to wear them and walk around and be comfortable in them. You can do that with this shoe. But in my opinion, I don't plan on wearing this shoe because of just how good it looks as is, and I don't want to see it get messed up. So Nike was going in a different direction as far as how they were paying homage to Black history in America and Black culture. Now it's important to remember that, at least in this case, the reflection was on 90s era hip hop culture. So that is why, even though it has a Black History Month theme, you're not seeing traditional African textiles or design in this sneaker. We have seen that in previous BHM releases, but with this sneaker, they were going for that 90s color blocking hip hop culture type of look, a mix of materials. Now, when I think of that 90s color blocking style, I'm thinking of obviously the colors you're seeing going along the laces here, but also the nylon windbreakers jackets, right? The old polo jackets, the Nike, the starter jackets, things like that. That is where I think this material that you see around the top of the toe box here, kind of wrapping itself around the bottom of the lace area, is kind of where that comes from. It's that light windbreaker-like material. It's got a little bit of a rubberized feel to it. It almost feels like leather at first touch, but I feel like that's kind of where that comes from. And then you also have the mesh basketball short type of material that's near the hook of the swoosh in the middle of the upper. That is also very 90s to me. As a kid, when you had basketball shorts, it was pretty much in this material, whether they were Champion, Rydell, Nike, whatever. This is what you had as material wise. I just remember my old school basketball shorts from when I was a kid, which was in the 90s. It was this material right here. So I immediately recognized that as well. But of course, there is some really nice leather going on in the upper as well. Now, all of these materials really come together to create a nice textural palette for the upper that is really engaging, especially with the shoes in hand. Now, that's just really the foundation of what really draws attention with this shoe. There are two things in particular. Let's start with probably the more obvious one, and that is all the threads coming off this shoe on almost all sides of it. Now, it's all concentrated on the swoosh, and you'll actually notice that there is a red swoosh with an orange one beneath it. And I'm not sure if this is designed to actually come off or be pulled off, but I'm sure that's a possibility. I do like the layered look. It plays into the color blocking you have near the laces as well. But the threads, now Nike said, symbolize the connecting threads that connect all of us, especially within a culture or within a society. And it almost looks like they were trying to go for a visual representation of all of those threads. They're going in different directions, coming out of different areas of the shoe, and it's a really interesting look, obviously, and some people have disliked it, but this is really, to me, what elevates this shoe to that kind of work of art status. I really don't think that they were thinking too much about, functionality or wearability out in the streets and things like that. I mean, there's plenty of Air Force Ones to do that in. They were really going for a symbolic message here, and I think it plays well once you understand it and kind of digest it. At first glance, I don't think anyone really objectively looks at this shoe and thinks immediately that it's a beautiful shoe, but with the messaging behind it, you kind of understand the story being told here, and that's when it really grows on you, like a good piece of art should. Now, the other really striking design element on this shoe is on the toe box. The toe box is basically a mirror. It's this very reflective material, and there's a lot of ways to look at this. I didn't see anything specific on Nike's website as to what this means, but you can see with the torn leather circling the toe box there, it kind of has like a breaking through feel. And in my opinion, with Black History Month or any type of history that we are looking back on, when you learn and think back on the history of something, someone, some group, there is reflection, especially when it is tied to your personal history. So for what I would believe, a lot of Black Americans use Black History Month as a time to reflect. And that is really the message that I got looking at the toe box. Now, as an outsider looking in, that's just me, and I would love to hear what you think down in the comments below, what you think the mirror toe here represents, other than looking really cool, because it does look very cool. Now, one of my personal favorite design elements of the shoe is the way the laces are done here. So usually you can do laces like this with just about any shoe, but rare is it that there are shoes that don't give you the eyelets to give you at least the option to lace the shoe traditionally. There are just two up here, you go through the loop here that's on the tongue, and then two eyelets at the top. And I'm not sure if there's any symbolism that's meant to be taken away with the shoelaces making an X. I mean, you could think Malcolm X, you can think a lot of things, but I just love the way it looks. I think it's a very clean look, and again, untraditional from what we get in normal sneakers. It really just goes with this entire motif of just being more challenging and just different in its design. And then one of my favorite parts also about the tongue area is the BHM patch. It is a high quality leather tongue and then another quality leather BHM patch that is sewn on, and it has the same ripped leather look around the edges of the patch that you find around the toe box, showing off that reflective area. Really just ties in together nicely and looks very sharp and well done. Now, at the top of the tongue, there's also a red fabric tab. I'm not sure exactly what that's for, if there's some kind of meaning behind that. I didn't see anything. And then around the heel of the shoe, you have a nice turquoise green patch of leather with Nike Air embroidered in with a very clean looking gold stitch. And unlike the frayed threads that are coming from the swoosh, this is done very cleanly. However, there are a couple of those threads coming off the stitching for the turquoise green patch itself. Now, the midsole and outsole is a classic white Air Force One, and I think it's good that they left that kind of clean and open. It to me kind of feels like the frame around the canvas that is the upper of this shoe, because like I said, the shoe is like a work of art in so many ways. So from the 90s color blocking inspired suede and orange and red on the swoosh, to the basketball short mesh material in the middle of the upper, to this kind of rubberized nylon windbreaker like material that's also part of the upper. There is so much going on and so much to appreciate with this Air Force One from the Nike BHM collection that I don't see why as a collector this isn't something that you wouldn't want in your collection, mainly because of just how interesting and engaging the type of shoe is. I've already had a couple people I've been texting with, or people that I've shown this sneaker to, and you can see it in their eyes when they first see the shoe, like they light up, because this is a really engaging, unique looking shoe, and it's just kind of fun to talk about and hold and feel and get to know. So that does it for me, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this review of the Nike Air Force One BHM for 2020. This is, in my opinion, one of the most interesting BHM collection releases we've seen maybe ever. Is it my favorite BHM Nike sneaker? Probably not, but this is definitely one that is staying in the rotation and is going to go up on the shelf to be marveled at and looked at for years to come. Let me know what you feel about these shoes, whether you like them, hate them, love them, whatever. Let's talk about it down in the comments below. And at the end of the video, guys, here I have a link to my previous video on the undercover Presto Reacts. I am giving away 3 pairs of undercover Presto Reacts should we hit the milestones and comments on that video. So more info in that video. I will link it at the end so you can get in touch and get in on this drawing. While you're at it, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I will see you guys on the next review. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I hope you have a good day, good evening, good night whenever you're watching this. Peace.